putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Kevin Jackson here. So there's lots going on. You can only pack so much in a show. And then, you find yourself looking up going, what happened to the time? And it's slipping away. But I do want to first of all, give a shout out to the folks in California. The fires are horrendous. We pray for you guys. I know your politics suck, but you're Americans, and we want you to survive. And hopefully, fires in California seem like it used to be one a year, once every 2 years, something like that. Now it seems like they're all the time. And I just hope everybody can stay safe. Loss of life is obviously more important than loss of property, but when a house burns, I see those houses burning and I think of the contents. I'm not talking about the furnishings. I'm talking about the things that make up people's lives. And I get nostalgic for that. My aunt, Gertie, died recently, and she remarried a gentleman. His name is Charlie. Call him Uncle Charlie. And when she died, it was I knew she was sick, but it was a bit unexpected. And I called my Uncle Charlie, and I was like, hey, can I get my aunt? My Aunt Gertie was my mother's best friend, first cousins. And every time I would visit my aunt, she'd give me a letter or two from my mom. And just made me tear up because, it was little things between them. My mom talking about running off to college or, how me and my brother were doing. She's writing letters about me and my brother when she's, traveling around the country when she was married to my deadbeat dad. And it's a little drop of history that I'm never going to get anywhere else. And when she died, because it's not my actual uncle, I called him immediately and said, hey, look, when can I come down and search through that stuff? Because I got to get my Aunt Gertie's stuff. But I see these people's stuff burning. And I say to myself, who's got letters like that they're never going to see? A little bit of your history that goes away. I don't have much. I just don't. I've never been that person. But now I'm starting to get nostalgic. Maybe it's because I'm getting closer to death. Who knows? Did I say that out loud? We all are. It's okay. It's when you get to the point where you're talking about your mortality, you have to be okay with that. There's going to come a day where your clock, stops ticking. And I don't even think about it in terms of legacy and all the things that people think about. I just think about it in terms of, I don't want to make it sound like I want to know more about myself because it sounds so selfish, but I do. I want to read letters. My Aunt Gertie gave me a letter that my mom wrote from when I was a baby, and she's describing, Kevin's not sleeping a whole lot, and he drives me nuts, because he won't just get on a regular routine or whatever. And I'm thinking, there I was, boy, just woo, look at me, It was so fun to read my mom's handwritten letters. There's another lost art form. Starting to get punchy. It's getting to the end of the show. Corey Feldman found the tapes. He said he called the Santa Monica Police Department, to get his testimony when he was filing charges for pedophilia and all this against these people in Hollywood. And they said, we don't have that stuff anymore. And Feldman was like, you got to be kidding me. No. So, I don't know whether it's true or it isn't, because Hollywood, they got big power over there still, even to this day. All these pedophiles, they're out there paying cops off. Hey, man, you keep that stuff private, So who knows? But Corey Feldman says, I was digging through my garage the other day, and I found those tapes, man. Oh, wow. So he's going to release them. Good for him. I'm happy. You know what? You can see when Corey Feldman is talking about this stuff that happened in Hollywood, can't you just feel his pain? He's like, looking back on it, and it's funny when something was wrong and you thought it was wrong, but everybody was like, no, this is cool. And then now he's an adult and he's looking back and he's just rewinding the clock on all the things that happened to him that he was told were okay. And he's going, you know what? I wish I could just reset and just start punching people's lights out. I know that's what he's thinking. I've had stories told when we were, doing a lot with these foster kids. And they tell you these horrible stories, things that have happened to them. And they say it as if, well, but, it's normal. It's normal to be molested by a foster parent. And you're like, No, it's not. You know, and many of the things that test your sensibility, you're like, what? No, that's not what they do. But it is. There are people in the foster system, just so you guys are aware, they love the money and they love children and they manipulate and they take advantage of these kids. I mean, believe me, I'm not going to even take you there because I don't want anybody having these thoughts. But what I will tell you is this. I work hard to get these kids out of foster care and into something real, into real families that love them. It's not good. And that's not to say foster parents are all bad. I'm not saying that. But when they are, oh my gosh, it's horrible stories. What else we got? North Korea. They said war is inevitable. The unmitigated aggression of the great, Donald Trump. I love their language, man. When these guys give a message out, whoa, you got to pull out the dictionary. But they say war is inevitable. One of my friends, he was arguing with me. He says, Kevin, why does Donald Trump go over there in these saber rattles and he's flying planes over North Korea and he's, dispatching ships into the South China Sea and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, why doesn't he just give, North Korea an ultimatum that just says it's very simple. You can have all the toys you want. You can build all the nuclear weapons you want. You can fire them off underground, overground, doesn't matter to me. But the minute you fire off one of those weapons to the United States, you're in big trouble. Now, I tried to explain to my friend that it's not as simple as he's trying to make it. Because, see, we run on 8-year cycles, 4 years, sometimes 8 year. And North Korea says, great, I'll amass all my weapons, and then I'll wait on the next Obama. And I'll hold him hostage. What Trump is doing is saying, I want to push him to the limit right now. Because I'll push him to the limit where I'll do something. And China's going to say, it's okay. They're going to turn and look the other way. Because you know what? The North Korean economy isn't a fraction of what ours is. And, do you really want to go to bat protecting a nutcase like Kim Jong-un? So I love the way, Trump handles these things. Now, my buddy's going, he should just make the ultimatum and we wash our hands of it and that's that. And I go, that'd be okay if Trump were a dictator. Not that I want that, by the way, because people, Kevin wants Trump to be a dictator. No, I'm not saying that at all. I don't want him to be a dictator. I want somebody who's going to be just as hardcore and hardcore conservative to step in, which is a good question. Maybe we should ask this as our question. I mean, you're going to have to call and leave me a message, but 844-551-8255. Who do you think could replace Trump once he's done, when he's run his second term out? Who could replace him? You got any ideas? Right now, honestly, the only person I see replacing Trump, because he's learning kind of how to work the system, is Ted Cruz. He's the only one. That's not to say that there aren't others. Maybe you guys have other ideas. But I say Ted Cruz. So anyway, from a foreign policy perspective, people are going, well, I don't give him a high grade because he's not doing very well on foreign policy. And I go, by what measurement? If you grade President Trump on his foreign policy compared to Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and John Kerry, you'd have to give him at least a B. I mean, I'm just saying, has he solved world peace? No. But this move to put our embassy in Jerusalem is a big deal. That's a big thing. His first trip to Poland, rock star. Went out there, glad-handed, made sure people knew the new America. We were going to protect our borders. We were not going to be part of the new world order, et cetera, et cetera. Success. Goes to Saudi Arabia, picks up $350 billion in contracts. Success. That country, in effect, had a small coup. Success. The guys that didn't like him are gone. The ones that like him are there. They're making a turnover. They want to become more of a democracy. So, I mean, I don't know how they're going to do that, but that's what they want. So he got that. He goes to China, or he goes to Asia, and he shores up relationships with Japan, South Korea, the Chinese, and Philippines, etc. I'd call that a win. He's got China at least looking into the situation with North Korea. When it comes to ISIS, you heard anything from them? They're getting their butts kicked. Oh, look, this is good stuff here. Hard to give a guy a 60. This buddy gave him a 60. I said, you do know that's a D, right? Yeah, because it's foreign policy. Oh, so you don't credit him with any of the good things that he's done. You know, the economy and unemployment, et cetera, et cetera. No, you know, I trapped him. I'm not going to kid you. I trapped him. Anyway, folks, we had a lot to talk about. We didn't get to it all, but we will do it again very soon.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.